up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate.
I'm Jason, Coach J Hunter. I'm 38 years old and I've never voted. I've had conversations with a few people and that came up, and the responses that I got back were kind of interesting. So I decided to make a video to explain why. Now, before I dive completely into that, I want to make sure that you have a great understanding of exactly how systems work, or at least an idea. So I'm going to share this one with you. Do you remember this movie?
No movie has captured our imagination like The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz, the story of innocent little Dorothy who woke up in a complete nightmare, and she took a whole journey trying to find her way home. Now, after all the years of watching this movie, I never really realized how deep it was until one of my mentors brought it to my attention about 6 years ago. So I'm going to share with you the same thing. Now, if we remember, the only thing Dorothy wanted to do was to get back home, get back home. That was the whole point of the movie. And at one point in the movie, the good fairy magically appeared and told her the only thing that you have to do if you want to get back home is to follow the yellow brick road. Now, just to walk down the road for Dorothy to be able to get home, you would think that would be a very simple task, except there was this other lady called the Wicked Witch of the West who made things extremely difficult for her. Now, the deeper my girl Dorothy got into her journey, she encountered some very particular occurrences and events. She also even met a couple allies that were helping her out throughout the way. They finally managed to make their way to the castle where everything was supposed to be, all the problems were supposed to be solved. Lo and behold, they get to the climax of the movie, and what do they discover? A little white man behind a curtain playing with a machine, and he kept saying, just ignore the man behind the curtain. And I shared this with you. I used the Wizard of Oz just to illustrate this is exactly how systems work. There's always someone or some people that are behind the underlying workings of systems. They're pressing all the buttons, you know, but these buttons affect people's lives in so many different ways. So that is the reason why I use this example. Now, to get to my life, here it is. This cute little guy right here, this is me. These are my parents, and this was my family. Growing up as a young child, I actually lived a very privileged life. I excelled in school. I was a straight A student and in honors classes up to the 10th grade. I also excelled in sports and music. I even had my first job when I was 11 years old, working for this guy here. I have always been extremely hard worker, and my main motivator, especially when I was young, was that I always wanted to make my father proud, who was an even harder worker. But something happened in my life at 14 years old. My parents, who had been married for 25 years, decided to get divorced. And even though I wasn't fully aware of it, there was something that changed in me. From 14 to 18, over that period of time, I stopped doing all of the things that I used to love to do and I was so good at. I quit the band. I stopped playing sports. I had opportunities to do a lot of stuff and I turned them down. I started cutting up in school, cutting up out of school. I started getting in trouble, but it was minor things and people kind of overlooked the stuff that I did. And to be honest with you, I just rebelled against everything that I did right. And the crazy part about it was all the adults in my life, and especially in the school system, it's like they noticed, but no one really asked. So going into my adult life, 18 years old, I packed my bags and I left, and I went on my journey to be my own man in the world. I tried the military. I rebelled. Didn't work. Tried school. I rebelled. Didn't work. Then I tried working full time with the job. At 19 years old, I made a decision that cost a couple customers $30,000 and changed my life forever. I became a convicted felon, and from the age of 19 to 28, half of that time was spent incarcerated, the other half was spent on probation. So up until just last year, voting has not even been an option in my life, at least that I didn't know of. And my story represents, I believe, a very large amount of people that are out there in the world. Fortunately for me, at 26, I was afforded the opportunity from my father to move back to my hometown that I had left when I was 10 years old. and to rebuild my life, put my life back together. He agreed to help me do that. At 26, I was given an opportunity to volunteer at a Boys and Girls Club in my hometown to operate a music studio. This was a volunteer. This is something I did for free. And I showed up every day, and I ran this music program, and I did pretty good at it. 6 months later, the director, Lee Wagner, actually offered me a job, which led to a career path for me. Since then, I have developed and created programs, platforms, and events that have engaged over 7,000 students on 3 continents. And when I really look back at it all, for me, I believe that I overindulged in being an activist because that was the only way that I actually had a voice in this country. I wasn't able to use my right to vote to be a representation of anything. So the work that I put in the community was my only way to actually bring about the changes that I wanted to see. I always felt excluded from the traditional society, even simple things as going to, if I want to get a job, or I need to get a job, or if I want to do a contract with a business or organization that wants to do a background check, I either have to take my name off of it, or I have to just not go with that opportunity. I have been declined a lot of things because of that criminal record, because of my felony convictions. So just keep in mind that you have people out there that we really would like to participate in society, but we feel excluded from it. And a very interesting thing happened to me last year. I needed to renew my driver's license. So I went to the DMV, and while I was at the DMV, the lady asked me, "Are you registered to vote?" And I told her no. And then she asked, "Well, would you like to register?" I said, "Well, sure." That was the first time someone had asked me. So I filled out the card, submitted it in, and it came back. And come to find out, I actually have my right to vote. Now, I'm sharing this story with you, so hopefully we can start empathizing that there are people out there who feel like they don't have a stake in this. So if your only answer to everything that's going on, just go out and vote. Well, there are a lot of people that can't, or not even aware that they can, like me. I don't know how long I've actually had the right to vote. I always was told, and I thought that I couldn't vote, so I didn't. And I didn't put a lot of time into really trying to be a part of that system, because I've been so used to not having that option. So it hasn't really meant too much to me. But now I'm very aware, very I guess awoken as far as how I can use my vote to bring about some of the changes that I want to see. Now, I definitely, me myself personally, I want to know more. I want to learn more, and I want to do more. And I'm sure there's more people that can really understand my story and can relate to it. So if you understand this, and you might know someone or some people that are out there that need to hear this or understand it, just share this video with them. I greatly appreciate you if you do it. Every Tuesday, we do a live on Shift that we discuss issues and topics like this at 7 o'clock. So feel free to tune in, join in. This is Coach Jay. I'm checking out.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate.